Hi, welcome to our show. Listen, have you ever wondered why you might need a trust? Have you ever wondered why you might want to optimize Social Security and how you might be able to do that? Have you ever wondered about taxation to a surviving spouse and how much different it looks? Have you ever wanted to just know about annuities? I mean, they're very complex instruments. Have you ever wanted to understand how to grow a portfolio? There's only two ways. So we're going to talk about that today, so stay tuned.
Retiring Well, brought to you by Centennial Wealth Advisory, financial advisors specializing in retirement planning and serving all of northern Michigan. Retiring Well, helping you plan for a successful and comfortable retirement. Retiring Well, plan to retire well.
Hi, welcome to our show. Listen, in this segment, I want to talk to you about trusts. Now, I am not an estate planning attorney. We'll have these conversations a lot with our clients. We can at least kind of direct traffic. But I want to give you some reasons that you might want to think about a trust. Now, this is all encompassing. There's going to be several reasons, but I just want to give you primarily four that I can think of that you might want to be thinking about. First of all, most times people have a trust, and we use this in the past quite heavily when we are trying to avoid what's called estate taxes. Okay? Now, I'm not going to go into a lot of depth with that because today individuals can pass on a whole lot more than they used to be able to without any estate tax. As an example, an individual can pass on $11 million with no estate tax. If they're married, that's $22 million. Now, the only exception to that is IRAs, because IRA money has never been taxed. But that's not going to affect a whole lot of us, is it? Another reason you might want to trust is to avoid probate. A good estate plan is where all your assets know where to go when you die. All right? If they all know where they got to go when you die, then nothing has to go to probate. That's a good estate plan. It used to be that some assets had to be put into a trust to avoid probate. Okay, for example, a house. But today, with the use of Lady Bird deeds, we can set that beneficiary designation on the house so it knows where to go when you die. Doesn't necessarily have to go through a trust. But there may be assets that you need to put into a trust per se for that reason. Another reason you might want to trust is maybe you have a beneficiary that has special needs, and they're not allowed to have certain assets, or it affects their, let's say, their aid. Well, you might be able to put that into a special needs trust whereby it doesn't count in their assets, but it's money that still can be used for their care if they need it. Now, another reason you might want to trust is if you want to make, let's say, distribution elections after you die. Okay, now think about this. If you pass away and you leave somebody a lump sum, they have full access to that lump sum right away for whatever reason. What if it's somebody that doesn't handle money very well, and you're concerned that they would maybe make bad decisions accordingly with it? Well, if you put it into a trust and then dictated how they could use that money, like maybe for just education, health, maybe their living expenses, then a trust would be appropriate for that. Maybe you have a younger beneficiary that couldn't handle a lot of money at the age they're at right now, and maybe you want to put it out there so that they have to wait till a certain age, let's say maybe like 30, and they might be more established. This is how you can make those distribution elections in a trust. So I hope that kind of gives you a feel for some reasons why you might need a trust. So I encourage you, give us a call. There's no cost, no obligation. Just sit down and talk and let us help you see where we might be able to direct traffic in helping you have a good estate plan.
Today's retirement challenges can be mastered. Knowledge is power because you can confidently plan ahead and make educated financial decisions for a successful and comfortable retirement. We are Centennial Wealth Advisory, financial advisors specializing in retirement planning, serving all of northern Michigan with offices in Traverse City, Cadillac, Petoskey, and Gaylord. And we invite you to an informative and exciting live event with a complimentary gourmet dinner. You'll learn highlights of the new Tax Reform Act, the difference between the fiduciary and suitability standard of care, how an IRA gets taxed to a surviving spouse, what a bull market is and how long it can last, and much more. Call 888-608-5825 to register and choose the date and location that works best for you. Wednesday, October 23rd at Big Buck Brewery in Gaylord. Tuesday, October 29th at Lakeside Charlie's in Cadillac. Or Wednesday, October 30th at Boone's Long Lake Inn in Traverse City. The live event starts at 6 p.m. and is free to attend with a complimentary gourmet dinner to follow, but seating is limited and fills quickly. Call 888-608-5825 to reserve your seats today. There is no cost and no obligation. Don't miss this important live event. Educated Financial Decisions. Call 888-608-5825 today.
Hi, welcome back. Listen, in this segment, I want to talk to you about Social Security and how to optimize it or maximize it for your benefit. Now, believe it or not, we actually have tools that can do this for us. If we know how much your income is going to be in Social Security at full retirement age, okay, we know what your age is, and most importantly, and you're going to find this humorous, we know when you're going to die. We can actually tell you the best strategy to take for Social Security and when to take it. Okay, now this tends to be a big question we get asked a lot. You know, most people know they can take it early at 62. Okay, they know they can wait till age 70, or they can pick anything in between, right? And they know the benefit is going to be double if they wait to age 70 from 62. But what is their circumstances, Warren? Are they better to take it early or wait? Well, again, based on these tools, we can dig in and we can actually show them the best strategy. But I want you to understand one thing. They have to tell us when they're going to die. Unfortunately, most people can't tell us when that's going to be. So trying to choose a time at which they think it might be gets to be a conversation in itself. Many people will go to their family history. My mom and dad, they lived to such and such age, so maybe that's probably it for me. I can tell you that as a general rule, they say that's maybe 1/3 of the case. You really 2/3 is your own lifestyle. You know, if your parents were smokers or drinkers and you're not, and you play and exercise is a big part of your daily life, then maybe your longevity is going to be a lot more. But knowing when that is a huge, huge deal. So if we have what your income's supposed to be, we know approximately how long you think you might have to live, then we can give you the best strategy. And knowing that's very important. Now, there's some other factors that play a role in this too. You know, am I still working? Okay. Yes, if I wait and take Social Security and I'm not working, you know, how am I going to bridge the gap? Where am I going to take income while I'm waiting to take Social Security? Because you have to understand, if I'm not working, I'm waiting to take Social Security, then where's my income going to come from? It's going to have to come from my savings. And you don't want to dwindle that down to what we would call critical levels. Now, there's a lot of other things that come into play with Social Security. Used to be the ability to file, take half your spouse's benefit while you let your own grow. They called that a file and restrict. That's been limited now depending on what your age is. If anything, folks, know that if it's getting time close for you to take Social Security and you want to understand what the benefit might be best for you to take it at, then give us a call. Again, no cost, no obligation to sit down to run it through these optimization tools we have and see what best fits for you.
Well, a lot of good information there, guys, in regards to Social Security, and I think of how when we're looking at income planning, Social Security plays a vital role when you're looking at that, and a lot of it comes back to that longevity factor and how long are you going to live, and that's a tough one to know exactly what that looks like. And so I know, Nick, you're in the Gaylord and Petoskey office visiting with folks regularly. What have you been seeing when in those conversations about Social Security?
Yeah, really the big question is, when should I take it, right? Should I take it right away at age 62, or maybe wait and maximize those benefits and wait 65, or maybe full retirement age? That's what we got to figure out.
Sure.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting, the different times people choose to come in and, when they retire, and obviously makes a big role of that. Some folks just take it at 62 because, hey, yeah, that's the earliest I can get it and I'm going to get it. Other folks, I'm a delayed. I've heard that's better. But the interesting thing is it's really dependent on your personal situation. Some folks it may make sense at 62, other folks it may make sense at full retirement age, other folks it may obviously it makes sense to maximize it and take it all the way till 70. But some important things to remember when you're doing that, but always one of the other advantages that come in talking to us. Just get to sit down. That's one of the things we talk through when we look at like our holistic approach, when we do that second opinion for you and talk through your complete retirement review. That way we know exactly what is financially in your best interest. Look at taxes and know how that's going to impact Social Security. So if you haven't had this looked at, we'd love to sit down and take a look at that for you and help you through deciding what makes the best sense for you. You're going to want to stay tuned because coming up next, Larry is going to get into talking about taxation on a surviving spouse.
Hi, welcome to Truck Talk. Listen, what I want to talk to you about in this segment is surviving spouse taxation and why it's so important to understand. So here's a couple. They're getting $45,000 in Social Security. Now just don't know this, one's getting 30, the other's getting 15. Now they want $81,000 of income. So they're just going to take $36,000 out of their IRA to make up the difference. Now Uncle Sam says in this particular case, $18,000 of that Social Security is going to be taxable income. Now they get a standard deduction for $26,000. Okay, their taxable income is $28,000. Income tax, $2,992. All right, now one of them passes away. Now, if you didn't know this with Social Security, the surviving spouse gets to keep the higher of the two Social Securities. So he or she gets to keep 30, but they lose 15 in Social Security. Now, he or she still wants the same income of $81,000. So now all they're going to do is take an additional $15,000 out of the IRAs to make up the difference. Now, Uncle Sam says in this particular situation now, okay, look at this, $30,000 in Social Security, but now $26,000 of it is taxable income. Look at the difference. Over here, $45,000 in Social Security, only $18,000 of it was taxable income. All right, so they get a standard deduction that's half the amount they had before because they're single now. Okay, taxable income, $63,000. Income tax, $9,890. Now folks, understanding this is very important. Why? Look at the difference here. A difference of almost $7,000, and all he or she did is take an additional $15,000 out of the IRAs to make up for the lost income they lost from Social Security. How can this be? So understanding what that taxation is going to be to the surviving spouse is just as important as it is when you're both together in your married years living. Maybe we could have employed some IRA exit strategies like being more aggressive with the Roth conversions. So by the time that person died and there was a surviving spouse, none of the Social Security ended up being taxable. Maybe we could get them into a situation where they had zero tax at all. Again, no cost, no obligation to come in and let us see if you're a Roth conversion candidate, maybe show you what your situation looks like. Give us a call.
We look forward to helping you plan to retire well.
Hi, welcome back. Listen, in this segment, I want to talk to you about annuities. Now, anytime we're talking about annuities, we're talking about insurance products, because annuities are financial instruments that are usually involving an insurance company. So very important to understand. Now, a lot of people see a lot of what I would call negative press on annuities. They see the ads that say, I hate annuities and here's 10 reasons why. The truth about annuities is there's a lot of different kinds of annuities. They're very complex. So depending on what your needs are, they can be good, but they can be bad. It really just depends on your circumstances. The one I can think of right off the bat is what they call an immediate annuity. Okay, an immediate annuity is a lump sum the insurance company is going to hold. It's this lump sum of assets, and then they're going to give you a guaranteed lifetime payout for the rest of your life. Guaranteed lifetime payout sounds really great, right? But here's the drawback. If you should pass away, guess who keeps the rest of the money? The insurance company. Doesn't sound very attractive. But if I'm somebody who doesn't care about leaving anything behind, maybe so. Another kind of annuity is what they call a variable annuity. A variable annuity, kind of looks like mutual funds in a sense. They call them sub-accounts, but they're with the insurance company. So it can hold investment risk. It can actually go down in value. But a variable annuity will have another side to it where they give you guaranteed income for the rest of your life, just like the immediate annuity. Now the difference in this case is if you passed away, there's some account value left. The insurance company just doesn't keep the rest of it. But that's going to be dependent on how the market is done if it hadn't taken too much investment risk while you were in it. Could be a plus though if you're looking at it from the guaranteed income standpoint. Another kind of annuity would be a fixed annuity. That kind of looks like a long-term CD. It might be 3, 5, 7 years in length. You can't lose your principal. They'll guarantee that, but they'll give you a fixed interest rate. Okay, very much like a CD does. That can be good, but maybe if the interest rates are low, maybe bad. Now, there's also what they call fixed indexed annuities. They're fixed in the sense that you can't lose the value, okay, that's a good thing. But instead of giving you a guaranteed interest rate like a fixed annuity does, they'll tie it to some kind of an index, maybe like the S&P 500, maybe it's gold. All right, so you get to participate in that index if it's up to some level or degree, but you don't have to participate in the down. Folks, there's so many features that comes with these annuities, and so many times people have these financial instruments, they don't understand them. I encourage you, give us a call if you're somebody that has any kind of instruments like this and you just want somebody to explain it to you. In many cases, you might find it's perfectly appropriate for you under your situation, but maybe in some cases you might find it's not. Now, a lot of problems with these annuities sometimes is the holding period. So, you may not be able to get out of it right away, but at least understanding the features and what you have might be very helpful. So again, give us a call.
Well, thank you for that, Larry. That was awesome. Speaking from past experience, we've had a lot of people come to the office as of late and discussing their current annuity products. One of the joys working here is getting to dissect those annuities and kind of give them that information that they didn't get from the start.
Yeah, and guys, it's something over the last 14 years that I've been with Centennial Wealth Advisory. I've had a number of conversations with clients just like you about annuities, and I always ask the question, what is it? What are your thoughts about annuities? And a lot of times I hear, oh, I don't like annuities, and that's perfectly fine, but then I may dig a little bit deeper to understand what is it that you don't like, and usually within that conversation come across that, well, maybe they're not really that well educated on what an annuity is, because there's a number of different types, and we would be in agreement that there's a lot of different times where a specific type of annuity wouldn't fit what you're trying to accomplish, and we'd be in full agreement that that isn't the route you need to go. So it's something we prefer to take an education first approach, where we want you to know, here's what your options are, and educate you on each of those so you can make an informed decision and determine what best matches what you're trying to accomplish.
John, that's really a great point. Education really is important because, what is it? An informed mind can make a good decision, right? And if you're out there and you have a specific investment, whether it's an annuity or another investment that you don't fully understand, oftentimes you're just not going to be comfortable with it and tends to be more nervous with it and not understand its advantages and disadvantage. We've yet to find that one silver bullet of investing, right? That's just going to always be positive or always be the best thing. And so you have to understand what the advantages, the disadvantages, what the cost may be, what the risk may be, what are your variations and options you have inside of that investment. And so getting down to the deep of that, as Nick said earlier, that's one of the joys we have is, bringing that stuff to light and being able to use our expertise to come to you and be able to really get you to understand what you have so you can then decide, is this for me or is it not for me? And so, if that's somebody out there like you, that you have a product that you have or an investment maybe you don't fully understand, we'd love to sit down with you, give us a call, and we'll have a no obligations, no cost appointment with you to help you get to the bottom of that. Coming up next, Larry is going to dive into 2 ways to grow a portfolio.
Today's retirement challenges can be mastered. Knowledge is power because you can confidently plan ahead and make educated financial decisions for a successful and comfortable retirement. We are Centennial Wealth Advisory, financial advisors, specializing in retirement planning, serving all of northern Michigan with offices in Traverse City, Cadillac, Petoskey, and Gaylord. And we invite you to an informative and exciting live event with a complimentary gourmet dinner. You'll learn highlights of the new Tax Reform Act, the difference between the fiduciary and suitability standard of care, how an IRA gets taxed to a surviving spouse, what a bull market is and how long it can last, and much more. Call 888-608-5825 to register and choose the date and location that works best for you. Wednesday, October 23rd at Big Buck Brewery in Gaylord. Tuesday, October 29th at Lakeside Charlie's in Cadillac. Or Wednesday, October 30th at Boone's Long Lake Inn in Traverse City. The live event starts at 6 p.m. and is free to attend with a complimentary gourmet dinner to follow, but seating is limited and fills quickly. Call 888-608-5825 to reserve your seats today. There is no cost and no obligation. Don't miss this important live event. Educated financial decisions. Call 888-608-5825 today.
Hi, welcome back. Listen, I want to talk to you about the 2 ways that you can grow a portfolio. Now, one way to grow a portfolio is through what they call yield. Yield in a portfolio is actual interest and dividends being earned on the underlying securities. If I'm a stock, I'm paying a dividend. That's yield. If I'm a bond, I'm paying interest. That's yield. Yield is the actual income. Liken it to a rental house where you're receiving rent income. Okay? Now, the second way to grow a portfolio is through appreciation. Okay, that's the idea that you're going to be able to buy a security at one price and hopefully is going to grow to be at another price, and you're going to be able to lock in that gain and sell it off for that gain. Okay, that's the second way you grow. Liken that back again to the rental house where you have a house and it's growing in appreciation. Now, what's important to understand is between yield and appreciation is that usually more volatility is associated with the speculative piece. So as you look at your portfolio, very important to understand how much yield you're getting, because the lower the yield, the more you're relying on speculation, the more volatility you're most likely going to have. We have the tools to be able to dive into your portfolio and tell you exactly what your yield is. So I encourage you, give us a call. No cost, no obligation to look at that for you.
Hi there, my name is Nick Greenman. I'm one of the financial advisors here at Centennial Wealth Advisory. Brand new to the Gaylord office. I'm here full-time now, and I'll also be commuting back to the Petoskey office as well. I'd love to hear your story and learn if I could help you manage your retirement needs.
You know, that was really great information, guys. You know, 2 ways to grow a portfolio. I immediately think of retirement income when I think about that. I know Larry talked a great deal about that. But boy, when we have folks come in and they always ask the questions, oh, can I retire? When can I retire? How much do I need to retire? It always comes back to income. I mean, that's your lifestyle in retirement. We've often heard people say it's like 20 to 30 years of unemployment. So you need to be able to rely on that income consistently to live in those time periods. You know, that speculation, the idea that one way Larry talked about growing a portfolio, I know I personally wouldn't want to rely on my income of the idea I'm going to buy here and sell here for 20 to 30 years. You might get lucky and do that a few times, but to have that consistent income coming in so you can do the things that you want to do in retirement, you know, see the grandkids, travel, maybe it's winter away for many of you in northern Michigan here, stuff like that. But I know, John, you know, we see people all the time and there's different stories and different experiences folks have, but it's, you know, I'm sure that you might have an interesting one here we could talk about.
Yeah, and guys, I think of with income planning right now, the biggest challenge comes back to the yield on your investments. Like we've been discovering as interest rates have dropped, it's very difficult to get a reasonable amount of yield or income to draw from. And so I was visiting with a couple recently and they told me up front, they said, hey, it's just the two of us, we don't have kids, and it's not a great desire to leave a big lump sum behind, but we do want an income. And he had been doing planning on his own, so sort of managing his investments over the years, and was looking for that yield to basically just protect the principal and draw interest. But he was coming across what we see so often is, okay, interest rates have dropped a bit now, and so that income's a little bit less. And so I reminded him, you know, it's okay if your desire is not to leave assets behind, then okay, let's structure a plan. And I almost laid out a little bit of a sort of a bucket approach where we tried to establish income for a certain number of years in different buckets. And so that was a way to visualize how to draw that money down over the years. And so it's different for everybody though. So
Definitely, yeah. I love the bucket approach. I use that all the time. Well, thanks guys for that. Thank you so much for tuning in, everyone. If you'd like to sit down and get that free, no-cost obligation meeting with us, please do so. Thank you so much.